WWE's Friday Night Smackdown is headed off of Big Fox and headed back to USA Network. What does this have to do with the Big Ten, Ted? More than you think.
From LA to Piscataway, all Big Ten all year long. This is Big Ten Ted.
I know what you're thinking, Ted. We're right in the heart of the Big Ten football season. We're getting into more conference play, big on big action. Let's talk previews. Let's talk reactions. Let's talk ball. I get that. I hear you, and trust me, when I flip the calendar to September, I want to do previews. I want to do reactions. I want to talk X's and O's, and I want to talk ball. And this seems like an off-season topic. This seems like an off-season title, an off-season video. But this news is happening right now, and this news could determine where you watch your team starting next season once we get into this time of the year. Once we get into the end season. What day you might watch your team. What time you might watch your team. Let's dive right into it. Okay, let's start from the Fox point of view. Okay, now that you're not paying for Friday Night Smackdown, now that you have more money, you have more financials, you got more Benjamins to kind of throw around on other sports properties, and let's call it as it is, more valuable sports properties. Number two, now there's a void on Friday night. Now there's a big void on Friday night, starting at 8 Eastern, starting at 7 o'clock Central, which we know that's a great time to kick off a football game, isn't it? Oh, it's a fantastic time to kick off a football game. The Big Ten has been investing a lot more into Friday nights lately. You see more and more, an increasing amount of Friday night games for the Big Ten within the Fox family, actually. On FS1, we've seen some within the Big Ten Network, and we know the relationship between BTN and Fox as well. So they're dipping their toe into the water just a little bit on Friday nights. Boy, if they want to plunge head first, if they want to dive off the 10-foot diving board and really get into it, putting Big Ten games on Big Fox could be the future for the Big Ten Conference. We know there's going to be 18 teams in the conference starting next season. That's 4 more teams than we got right now. USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington. Everybody knows that. We've been talking about that for quite some time, all summer long. If you watch Big Ten football this fall so far, in September, there is a lot of TV, and it is bloated sometimes in the months of September when you've got all these non-conference games. Sometimes you've got 3, 4 games. Sometimes you see those overflows on the Big Ten Network as well. And now that you're adding 4 more teams, what do you need? You need more TV networks. You need more windows, and maybe you need an extra day. And that's where a Friday night game in primetime on Big Fox comes into play. And I think this could be a bigger deal than maybe some people anticipate. Right now, the big games of the week are on Fox, they're on CBS, they're on NBC. Those are the biggest games of the week right now. And that's going to continue to stay that way. That's not changing with the potential Fox and a Friday night relationship. But there are some incentives going forward. Whether you like Friday nights, whether you don't like Friday nights, there are some incentives going forward. Let's talk about these West Coast teams. Right? People are talking about USC in Colorado playing at 9 a.m. local time, playing at 10 a.m. local time. It is my personal opinion that West Coast teams should not play that early. It's not my opinion. It's my opinion that just shouldn't happen, especially when they're playing home games and they're playing on that side of the country out west. So Friday nights could be a great home for West Coast teams in the future, right? When they're maybe not playing in a CBS 3 o'clock window or a noon window. This Friday night game could be a great place to feature West Coast teams on their own and maybe not get buried into a Saturday schedule in the Big Ten. This is like when we talk about the 4th biggest game of the week after Fox, after CBS, after NBC, a Friday night window on Fox could be a great way for West Coast teams to maybe get a little bit of exposure, and of course the rest of the Big Ten to maybe be put on a little bit higher of a platform as well. So I mentioned FS1 right now. Okay, they are airing a lot of Friday night games, and we know Fox is also going in with the Big 12. Selfishly, I would like to see, and I think this would really help unbloat, so to speak, the Big Ten schedule, having a Friday night game on FS1 and having a Friday night game on Fox. But where could this go in the future? I believe this could maybe go to a Big 10 and Big 12 kind of alternating deal where one week one of them is on Fox and that same week, the other one is on FS1. Like I said, I'm selfish. I would rather have that all to ourselves, but I could see Fox including their other partner in the Big 12 as well. This is something that I believe could benefit the Big 10. It's not going to add them any more expansion, but you got to think it is more valuable to the Big 10. It kind of puts the Big 10 in its own window. Right now, you're not seeing a ton of other conferences really go into that Friday night time slot. You're not seeing a ton of other leagues really adopt that. The Big 10 is kind of, you see sprinkling of games here and there from other leagues, but the Big 10, I think, is really going into Friday nights and trying to make that night their own. And putting a game on a national network instead of an FS1, instead of a BTN, and really giving that exposure and really making it a decent-sized game. Maybe the biggest game of the week outside of your Fox Big Noon, CBS Midday, and NBC Primetime. And as we've seen this season so far, sometimes Fox puts a Big 12 game in that time slot as well. So if they put a Big 12 game in the Big Noon time slot is what I was saying, maybe they could have a bigger game on Fox Friday night as well. Now, I work Friday nights. I'm not sure how I feel about having a game every single Friday night. Maybe I need to get a new job. Maybe this needs to be my job. Maybe Big 10 needs to be my job here going forward so I can sit down and enjoy these games on Friday night. But I want to hear what you guys think about this. Do you think Friday nights on Fox could be a good marriage for the Big 10 and some of those West Coast teams out there to get a little bit more exposure? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'm Big 10 Ted. We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching Big 10 Ted, where it's all Big 10 all year long. Make sure to like the video to spread the word of Big 10 Ted to the masses, and subscribe to the channel for updates on Big 10 content that drops every day.